All right, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you had a wonderful day. The most exciting week of this summer did not disappoint, and we had a lot more activity today. There was everything from earnings and data. The JOLTS jobs report actually came in better than expected. There was no weakening with the jobs market. You even had headlines of war and bonds and gold and oil, and the whole entire market was all over the place. Even after hours, the earnings, you got to hear from Microsoft and AMD. Microsoft was not good, and we saw a big reaction even though it was all in line. Starbucks was able to do good off of not the best earnings, and we had a lot of things all over the place. But now, tomorrow, we get the main event. There is Jerome Powell in the Fed, and then on top of that, there is going to be a very weird dynamic with the Bank of Japan, and depending on how things play out tomorrow, it is going to either set up a very volatile or very calm outline leading into Friday, which should help us decide where we go until September. So, Chad, I hope you're ready for all of it. We got a lot to talk about. There was even a lot of plays today. We got to make a lot of them free, and I'm sure tomorrow we're going to get even more. So what I need from you, a thumbs up on the video. Make sure you're subscribed. And if you don't know, we are live Monday through Friday, 30 minutes before open, youtube.com/The Stock Market. We will see you there in the morning, baby. Run it.
Working to the couch, it's the 2020 election. Live in the hills, but still get a spread. Started with a live, but it's still reinvested. Feel how I feel, then you feel like it's a blessing. I just want the lesson, I just want protection. I'm up and I'm down, but the sound like progression. Farming never plans if he waits for perfection. Finger to the down, hold it.
All right, off the bat, there's going to be a lot of things to juggle tomorrow, but I will put it very plainly. Powell will be the most important. The FOMC comes out at 2 p.m., 2:30 for the press conference, but now the Bank of Japan and Powell, there's a lot of moving pieces that get incorporated into all of this that we have to look out for. So I don't want to confuse you too much, but what we are essentially looking for is a game of tug-of-war. I'm trying to simplify this as much as possible, but when it's all said and done, we don't know when the Bank of Japan is going to be coming out. They have an undecided time, but depending on what Powell says, the press conference, the statement, all of that good stuff, we want to see where does the dollar go. And now with a big jobs report on Friday, the thing that's so interesting about this meeting, we don't know what anybody is going to do because one person might be waiting for the next person. Otherwise, things may go to waste. Or if anything, though, Powell does have the key to all of it. So we're going to come back to here. There's a lot of things that we could talk about, but you may have to understand this. The big bullish thing and the number one thing that people want for tomorrow, this is even where I think some people may get let down, is people are looking for Powell to hint at September rate cuts. This could arrive through either the press conference when he's talking and they just ask him flat out and try to get him to talk about that, or if there is a statement change. Imagine how they have altered the statements in the past. If they could start, wording it as if they're getting ready to prepare for a cut, that would be something that the market would like. But these are what everybody's looking for. This is why today we were looking for the job market to weaken, even on Friday. This is where I'm saying, depending on whatever we get today, Bank of Japan or even Powell, or even tomorrow, how it plays out on Friday with the jobs report, that is going to either feed into the data or go against whatever we get here in the next couple of hours. So this is the biggest deal of Powell when it comes down to the Bank of Japan. Everybody wants to know if they're actually going to be more hawkish or if they're going to kind of go slower. And the theory is wait till Powell finally moves. And this is where I'm saying all you need to see tomorrow, all that really matters, whether you're like, okay, I don't understand this all. Does the dollar get stronger or not? Do the rate cut odds and the rate cut plays, how do they end up moving? That's going to be a part of it, but everything will get solidified by Friday's jobs report. But in the meantime, we want to watch the dollar. And then depending on if the Bank of Japan really ends up being a big move, you will see a massive move in the currency. And if that currency move is big enough, it's going to bring down the dollar. Or if Powell kind of surprises, is a little bit more hawkish, doesn't give you much, and Bank of Japan isn't as hawkish as people expect, and the market's pricing in 1.7, and then we get let down, then things could get very, very disappointing. And then not to mention all of the other earnings we have. So when it's all said and done, I would be watching the dollar, but this back and forth in which narrative takes control, whether it's Powell, the Bank of Japan, or anything else, that's going to be interesting. And then again, for tomorrow, tomorrow. Pay attention to this statement when it comes out. I will be going over all of this live, and we're going to see, is there any clues to September or not? Personally, I don't think he's going to give you a clue. I think he might, give you a small olive branch of saying, hey, if the date is there, he's open to it, but I don't think anything in the statement's going to change too much, and I don't think he's going to word it. But if it does, again, people have been talking about the curve uninverting and how Powell needs to cut and all that. You never know what could happen, but I do think it makes a little bit more sense to kind of just punt and wait till the SCP for any major changes. So watch out for that. And then finally, man, if I could tell you this now, I mean, take a look at everything going on. It is about to be this event and even the jobs report on Friday and all of these earnings. It's the final big, gigantic event up until the SCP in the end of summer. You either got to make a move now or you wait till that September move. It seems like there is starting to be a lot riding on this table. A lot is priced into this week. There's a lot of earnings, depending on what we get with Powell and the Fed. If we actually get a huge Bank of Japan shift tomorrow, if we see central banks move, this is going to be that act now moment. Otherwise, if not, get ready to punt till September. And even then, if you feel like you missed on anything, I wouldn't mind waiting till September, because this may be the preemptive move leading into the September. And then from September, that'll be the final trade into quarter four. So I hope you're ready, but let us get into the plays. So, right off the bat, I hope you guys are ready for tomorrow. Again, I think there'll even be some index trades as everything comes out, and we'll see. Always can react to Powell. And then, again, non-farms, though, I think on Friday, that will be the main event. But as far as plays, Fizer, this is the first one I'm starting with. I have made all of my plays free, and why I like it, it has good earnings, good momentum above $31. But what I really want you to see is the post-earnings plays. There's going to be companies every single day here. Fizer, they had a really good earnings. The stock moved a lot ahead of earnings. That's why I don't think it had such a big move after it beat, but then it sold off. The conference call was on. We made several flips on them, and we made a lot of options free, but the idea was after these earnings, sometimes it gets volatile, does a pop, drop, and then comes right back up. If you notice there is good earnings and the premiums get substantially cheaper because they were hyped up before, I would not hesitate on any of those plays. So you'll see this when we get to the plays, but I did this several times today. I bought the August, or which one was it? I think it was the next week. Yeah, the August 9th 33 calls. We flipped these 2 times. I bought them one point at like 8 cents and then sold them for 11. I bought 50, then sold 40 of them for 11. Then they fell even more after we made the first set free, and then I bought back into them, and then I bought 100 of them at like 5 cents, and then I sold like 90 at 8 cents, and then they even went up to like 15 or something. But now I have 20 options for free, and I think I realized $100. But the whole point is, I just showed you guys the play. I want you to see the option chart, because this is something you should keep your eyes out for, just how this option literally played out throughout the day. It was going for like 20 cents the day before, opened up, even though the stock was up on the good earnings. We played it at like 8 cents, went a little lower, popped back up, and then it dropped, and then you could see at the 5s, and then it came back up near some of those prices. So I'm just looking for the options that were near the money, had good earnings, and then you could kind of see the ones in the money, they start to go up, but they don't have that much premium. So this is what I liked with it. I would keep this in mind for a lot of others moving forward, but watch out for that. That is play number 1. Then play number 2. This one, I really liked AMD for the earnings. They did good. Even for my earnings plays, I did a little bit further than 2 standard deviations, only to the upside. I thought it was a good deal simply because it was trading around there prior. If you actually go look at that pre-earnings move and sell, and I was feeling it before. The earnings were good. My only problem with this, it looks like it's moving in line. So we had all of those numbers of what was expected. A lot of these earnings did exactly what the option chain was pricing in prior. So I think AMD might stay in line. Otherwise, what I just showed you with Fizer, if we notice that, it's bullish and then some of those options get cheap, maybe it just does that, meanders for the first couple hours, and then later in the day it starts to take off. But hopefully AMD, I think if it has some good follow through, analyst upgrades, people were doubting them, trying to place them in the category of Intel. They did good on earnings. People, within a world where it's very easy to disappoint when everyone's getting scared now, maybe they'll like this, but we'll see how that all plays out. But watch out for that. That is play number 2. And then finally, I feel like I got to throw throw this out here because they have just been killing it every single day, no matter what's been happening. XLF and the banks, and they really have been outperforming. And then just don't forget, the Russell has a ton of regional banks on there. And even look at some of the financials. The Russell and financials go hand in hand. These things have been absolutely killing it. So if you are kind of getting bogged down by earnings, or like, oh, volatility, oh, concentration, Mag 7, these banks kind of like the healthcare, and that's why hopefully we'll see what happens with Humana tomorrow. These are very, very important and play their own little role when it comes down to the sector. So watch out for that. Those are the main plays. As far as everything else, I did make a couple of plays today. I did those Fizers, again, made them free, the 33 calls. I grabbed one Amazon AMD 175 call. That was my earnings play. I grabbed one of them for like $40, and then I played Starbucks both ways for the 2 standard deviations. I think the call was 2 standard deviations, and then the put, I pushed it out a little bit to save a little on money there. So I think both of these plays were $100, and then we made $100 on Fizer, and then have 20 of those contracts for free. So nothing too crazy, but so far earnings are decent. I'm still in that Disney from yesterday. I wanted to make it free, but even though the stock went up, it went up like 50%, but not quite enough. So we'll see where that one takes us. But other than that, not much going on. I think tomorrow, more pre-earnings, but more so Powell and Bank of Japan. Oh, I flipped the yen today. That was another one. We made like $300, but I think tomorrow will give us some more plays, and then we'll see where it takes us. But now I got a very short conclusion. I was going to get into Chapter 10, but we have the conclusion on MNCs. We'll wrap it up. We'll keep it short and sweet, and then we'll save the intro because now we will be getting to Chapter 10. But remember, these MNCs and figuring out the politics of them and regulation, it is still a task that has not been figured out. And then pretty much in modern eras, what have we gone to? Was it the bits? We have gotten and boiled everything is boiled down to these trade agreements that we operate on in terms of regulating the politics between MNCs and host countries. But getting into the lesson conclusion, the politics of MNCs emerge from the competing interest of host countries. Home countries are the MNCs and the MNCs themselves. Each group has distinctive interests regarding FDI, foreign direct investment. MNCs want to operate freely across the globe, with few governments impose restrictions on their activities. Host countries want to ensure that MNCs operating within their borders provide benefits to the local economy that offset the loss of decision-making authority that is inherent in foreign ownership. The home countries of the MNCs want to ensure that their firms' overseas investments are secure. The politics of MNCs emerge when these distinct interests come into conflict with each other. As we have seen, almost all governments impose some restrictions on the activities of foreign firms that operate inside their countries. Many governments, especially in the developing world, have tried to harness multinationals to their developing objectives, but even the advanced industrialized countries have been unwilling to allow foreign firms to control critical sectors of the national economy. Similarities arise from the common concern about the local impact on foreign decision-making. Differences arise from the fact that most developing countries are only host to MNC activities, whereas the advanced industrialized countries are both host and home bases. Consequently, developing countries' concerns about foreign domination are not tempered by the need to ensure that foreign governments respect the investments of the developing countries' own MNCs. The basic conflict between capital importing and capital exporting countries is evident also in the international politics of MNCs. In the international arena, politics have revolved around efforts to negotiate comprehensive rules for international investment, yet conflict between capital exporting and capital importing countries has so far prevented agreements on comprehensive investment rules. As we have seen, the conflict reflects a basic disagreement about what the rules should regulate. Should international rules regulate the ability of host countries to control the MNCs that invest in their countries, or should international rules regulate the range of activities that MNCs are allowed to engage in? The inability for advanced industrialized countries and the developing countries to agree on an answer to this question, as well as the apparent unwillingness of both groups to compromise, has prevented the creation of comprehensive rules to regulate international investment. So hopefully by all of this, you've learned a little bit about how multinational corporations operate, what makes them distinct, how they spread everywhere and take advantage of resources, and how it's this back and forth between corporations taking advantage of the countries, and then later, think about it, the obsolescing bargain, the countries take advantage of the host nations. And even then, like I was telling you guys, MNCs and FDI, these are still the early day. Multinational corporations have been around for a while, but this liberalization of FDI and how important and spread it is, this is a new economic development if you think about it. And it's interesting to see how, this trade factor and then this relationship, there's still stuff that hasn't even been figured out, which is where it sums up. So there's a lot we're going to get into. You're going to see the roles of MNCs and a little bit more specifics as we get into the other chapters. But now we're going to go over trade policy and how some things work and get into some more of the economics. So Chad, I'm very excited, but that is your lesson. That is your watch list. I'll see you tomorrow for Powell and the Bank of Japan, but that is your watch list, ladies and gentlemen. Make sure you're healthy, ready to go. Make sure post your watch list. Make sure we see you there in the morning. I need the armor on. I need the helmet shining. And I need you to remember, baby, revelation. Let it be revealed, baby. Sometimes learning things is more important than all of it. And remember, you choose your attitude. Attitude's like a flat tire. Oh, yeah. Oh, you can feel it. Oh, my gosh. I hope they feel me. But, Chad, I love you. Drink that water. Stay hydrated, healthy, ready to go. Wait, what's that? Do you see that's the old one? Oh, but I love you and everything, Chad. I lost track of all of it, but I'll see you in the morning and